Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beerly Halftime Report. It's me, Old Hospital Balls, and joining with me, as always, is a generational Lagway hater. We're here to do a quick update to the Beerly Football Podcast. We just finished watching the first half of the Miami Dolphins Buffalo Bills game happening in Orchard Park. What do you take away so far from the first half?
Dolphins' offense looked a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
They still have no running game whatsoever, and this O-line sucks. But if they had a running game, it seemed to be good. A-Chain's a good running back.
Yeah, it's something me and you talk about a lot, and no one else talks about. I feel like the longer you wait to invest in O line, the worse your team's going to be.
Easily.
It doesn't matter what quarterback you have under center. It doesn't matter what weapons you have at wide receiver. The longer you wait to invest in your O line, the worse you're going to be.
Battle lines can make or break a team.
Yep.
As Zach Hader, J.J. McCarthy, he did not play well his last game, but his line looked terrible in that game also.
It didn't look good, but also he also, I believe I saw a statistic, he was the least on-target passer through 2 weeks.
Wouldn't surprise me. If not, at worst, bottom three. I think he's QB 31 in my rankings right now.
Who's QB 32?
I think it might be Flacco, right? I can't.
Flacco played well week one.
Week one last week he was
not great last week. Yes,
Rattler was my original 32, but he's looked all right last couple weeks.
He's looked okay. He's looked like Spencer Rattler at his best.
That's a fair assessment, actually.
Yeah, actually.
You think Dolphins got a chance to win this game or no?
I mean, the problem I see right now, Buffalo should be up by 2 or 3 scores in this game. It seemed like they were just trying to run the ball to burn clock and keep the offense of the Dolphins off the field. And then when your kicker, I mean, that was one of the worst kicks I've seen all season.
I thought he was drunk out there, honestly.
That was horrible.
That was a rough kick.
You guys remember prime Matt Prater? Well, he ain't here anymore.
But he had such a good game. Was it
week one?
Ravens game. Yeah. I don't know what happened. He just suddenly realized I'm old, man. I can't.
That was such a bad kick. I think, honestly, I would have gotten closer to making that.
Yeah, I feel like you could have got.
Even if I missed, it would have been closer.
That's good. That's got to be one of the definitely.
That was like a hooked knuckleball. It was horrible.
It was rough. Not gonna lie.
But yeah, I mean, the longer Buffalo Bills decide they want to keep the Dolphins in this game, the more the Dolphins have a chance to pull out the win.
Dolphins defense can't do anything though. We got a white corner out there. I think they have like 2 healthy corners on the roster right now. They can't.
They got Jack Jones at one side and 40-year-old Rasul Douglas.
It's rough. I just looked it up earlier. They've only had 3 defensive stops this whole season. They forced 2 punts in the second half against Patriots last week, and then they had the missed field goal today. That is their only 3 times that an offense has not scored against the Dolphins this year.
That's pretty bad. It's just kind of crazy because they have a decent, they have Chubb and Phillips as a pass rush. They just don't have anything on the back end.
But even their pass rush has not played well this season either. They have talent there, but.
But I mean, if the wide receivers are open right away, your pass rush numbers aren't going to be good.
True, but goodness, a little bit rough there.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 2 drives, Buffalo Bills did whatever they wanted and drove down the field both times. So, I mean, Dolphins tie it up right before half, 14-all.
That was a great drive. I don't know how long that drive was for.
It was like 10 minutes.
It was a long drive because I thought Bills were going to be the ball.
Like 10:37 left to go in the half.
He could not have ended that half in a better way as the Dolphins just did.
No, you couldn't have.
At all.
Take a long time, spend the rest of the quarter with the ball, score, tie it up.
Mm-hmm. While we're here, let's head into Pick'em. There's only a few winners last week, so it won't take us too long. I have 13 winners for week 2. Congrats to all of you. Play along with us. Get them all right. We'll shout you in the pod. So at Tom Talk to Him, Pats fan from Tennessee. At _Big Warren D Toth, Lions fan from Virginia. At N8V Panthers fan from PNW. At 2K Barkley Eagles fan from Sacramento. At Daryl _Bistro. It's Daryl's Bistro. At Philly World Cup of Pokemon champ. At Brand Grappler, he's ready to fight. At Muffle Punt, Cowboys fan. At Biggie Not Small, he's from Miami. At Stephen Kaya from Maine. At Vex_Alchemy, Fantasy Football Addict. At Falcon Knoll, Seminole Booster. And the man, the myth, the legend, Jackson Jeremy 8. So congrats to all you winners. On the Beerly side of things, it was a rough. After last week's episode, I felt wrong after my picks, but I still went with it. I just knew they were going to be bad. It was rough. I went 0-3. I picked the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Chiefs. All 3 lost. Rough look for me. Trevor came in second. He got 2 out of 3 right. He picked the Vikings. Unfortunately, he got the Patriots and the Eagles right, though. He went to 2-1. Zach, after a rough week 1, bounced back 3-0.
Hey, listen, it's all about bounce back.
Atlanta, Patriots, Eagles, he's 3-0. So on the season through 2 weeks, Trevor leads away at 4-2. Zach is second at 3-3, and Carrie's third at 2-4. Pretty much exactly how we were last season, honestly.
What games do you have this week, or have you picked them yet?
I'm going to pick them live right here on the podcast.
All right, let's do it.
If I can get to that tab where it shows me the schedule.
Do you want me to pull it up?
I got it. All right, game number 1. All right, this game. This is at 4:05 Sunday. We got the Broncos at the Chargers. Chargers have looked good so far this season, but Broncos they were very close to a 2-0 record.
You know, I'm gonna break the curse here. Are you ready for this?
He's gonna pick the Broncos.
I'm gonna break the curse. Chargers by 50.
Chargers by 50. I mean, Herbert's looking pretty good once he got a girlfriend.
Yeah, listen, he just needed a good woman in his life, just like I have.
I'm going to go opposite, though, Hurdy. Sorry. I'm going to go the Denver Broncos. Whenever people start to favor the Chargers, that's when they start to let you down. I think Broncos.
Who did the Broncos beat last week?
They did not beat. They lost the Colts.
Oh, that's right. They lost. That's right. They scraped out a win week 1 against the Titans.
We did. All right. Second game of the week. Here's a close one, which I've seen a lot of people favor one team, but I think it's going to be a decent game. We got 2 undefeated teams going at it. We got the Cardinals at the 49ers. Mac Jones probably starting again.
We're going 2-0 here. We're going to 3-0. Give me the Niners.
Niners? I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to go opposite of Zach again because this paid off well last week. I'm going to go Cardinals with the upset, start 3-0.
Okay.
In our game of the week, Zach, you choose between 2 games. Who'd you rather pick? Rams, Eagles, or Ravens, Lions?
I think Ravens, Lions is the most obvious pick. Rams, Eagles. Yeah, I like the Lions, Ravens game more. So, I think that's also going to be a very good game. I think both games are going to be good. But
all right, so who are you taking, Lions, Ravens?
Well, this is a tough one because the Ravens are a really good football team. They play their brand of football very well. But I think I'm going to go Lions.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go Lions on the road. I know Baltimore's favored by 4.5, but I think Lions, they're sick of people like Kerry Dempsey saying, oh, the Lions are missing the playoffs this year, and they're going to come out and make a statement. Like they did last week, putting up 52 on the Chicago Bears.
They did make a statement last week, not going to lie. They look good. I'm going to go the Ravens, though. Don't doubt the Ravens unless they're playing against Josh Allen or in the playoffs. I like the Ravens to beat on the Lions.
And don't count out the Ravens unless they got a 3-score lead on Josh Allen week 1.
That is also a true statement. You got any other takeaways since last week we haven't talked about?
I want to talk about my name a little bit. Hospital balls are fake.
They are.
They're fake, and they can't. And the way people define them is incorrect and stupid. And the discourse about Trevor Lawrence and hospital balls is some of the dumbest discourse I've ever heard in football ever. It is so bad.
Have you heard about the Derek Carr hospital balls? Do you agree with that one?
I haven't heard about this one. What is it?
Derek Carr was a big hospital ball thrower that he would purposely put his receivers in harm's way. Was a lot of the stuff I heard. I don't know how accurate that was, but that used to be a big rant.
Well, I mean, look at some of the. If you look at Tom Brady and look at Peyton Manning and look at how many receivers went down from throwing seam passes between two safeties and their guys just getting crushed.
That was also a different era too, when they're actually hitting people.
No, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying like hospital balls, like really?
I think they just call it now. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get hit sometimes, but
You're gonna get hit sometimes. Like it's still football.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're open, the quarterback's gonna throw you the ball. I'm really excited about this Jaguars team. Just gonna throw that out there. I think we've looked really good through 2 weeks. I think that, even though we lost last week, I thought that we were the better football team. And I know that that's an overused saying, but I really do believe we were the better football team, even though we lost. And so I'm really excited about the Jags this season. I know it's not a pick'em game, but I think we're going to win this week against the Texans.
Do you think the Jags are the best team
in football?
In the AFC South?
I think we are the best team. Well, the Colts look really good. I think we're better than the Texans overall. I think the Texans' offensive line looks awful. Even though their defense looks pretty good, their offensive line looks terrible.
No running game.
And they don't have a running game, really. I mean,
also
Chubb will have like 1 or 2 good plays a game, but that all goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the Dolphins about not having an O-line.
Great.
And look what happened to the Bengals. They still haven't invested in the O-line, and Joe Burrow out for 3 months.
You think the Bengals will be able to hang around until he comes back?
Maybe. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Because I mean, like even though Jake Browning, like he's going to get credit for that win. I mean, he had 3 really bad interceptions. Like really bad interceptions.
He also, I mean, when's the last time he's played?
That's fair. But like, I don't know.
He also showed up when it mattered in the end of the game, though.
Yeah, I got a bailout pass interference call.
I think we'd all say he's probably a top 5 backup at least.
He's in the conversation. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying he's definitely not Joe Burrow, and that offensive line is going to present some issues to him that I think Joe Burrow is able to deal with a little bit better. But
the running game's kind of just disappeared all season for the Bengals so far, which they're definitely going to need without Burrow because Chase Brown really hasn't done too much.
I mean, he's been active in the receiving game, but yeah, he has like. But I mean, it goes back to offensive line. You got like you're not no matter what running back you have, if you don't have an O-line, they're not going to do anything.
At least they have tried to address it a little bit.
A little, but like, I mean, look at where they're spending their money. I mean, they're lucky that they were able to re-sign Trey Hendrickson before the start of the season. Or else I think they would have had a bottom 5 defense in the NFL. I really do think that.
And Shamar Stewart's looked good though in his early games, but
he's not Trey Hendrickson.
They've looked better than last year easily though.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think also Al Golden was the DC. They really thought that he was going to turn around their defense, which, I mean, they've been better so far, but not like they played great teams. No offense to the Jaguars.
I mean, Jaguars played pretty good against them.
But any other NFL things you want to talk about?
We have the Joe Burrow injury. He had an injury. Someone got hurt today. Bucks guard. I believe had a season-ending injury today. If I'm not
Cody Mock. And they're also without both their tackles right now, actually.
So I mean that does present some challenges for the Bucks, who have started the season red hot. They look really, really good to start the season, but I mean when you start getting in offensive line issues, you start getting things get a little more squirrely.
Do you think Baker's elite?
It depends on your definition of elite.
What's your definition of elite?
I didn't notice I had that. I have like scars on my knuckles. It looks like I punched somebody.
Maybe you shouldn't punch people, Zach.
I haven't been. I promise.
All right.
I think if you're defining it as like top 5 in the NFL, I'd say no.
Mm-hmm.
If you're defining it as top 10, like a guy, I think Baker Mayfield is a guy who can lead a team to a championship.
Yeah.
So if that's how you're defining it, I think that, and I think he's a guy who can go out and win you one versus a guy who you can win with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
I think there's a lot of guys in the NFL that are pretty good, but I wouldn't put them in he's not going to be the reason you win a championship. I could see Baker being the reason a team wins a championship.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, got a couple of college stuff to bring up before you head back to the game. Zach, you were talking about it all last week. You didn't think Gunnar – you weren't sure why Georgia wasn't letting Gunnar Stockton throw. Well, he threw in that game, and he looked pretty good.
So I'm going to say this. When Tennessee was doing what I thought they should do all game, they were leading 21-7 and looking dominant doing it. For whatever reason, their defensive game plan changed. I don't know if they decided, hey, we're going to we have the lead. Let's just not let any big plays happen. We're going to kind of touchdown James Cook for fantasy people.
Unfortunately, I'm playing against him, actually.
That's tough. But when at the beginning of the game, they were crowding the line of scrimmage. They were, they're blitzing. They were doing all kinds of things to let's defend against the run game. We're going to put our corners on islands and make Gunnar Stockton beat us against man coverage. And when they were doing that, they were playing pretty dang good. And then all of a sudden they started dropping into zones. They stopped blitzing as much. The run game for Georgia got going, and now they had the run and the pass going, and it became tough to stop. All that being said, I think Gunnar Stockton did impress me a little bit. I thought, okay, he can throw the football. But my whole thing was they should have never let him get into that rhythm. Keep doing what you're doing in the first quarter. They had one big play go off when they were doing that. But at the end of the day, I would rather allow 2-3 big plays a game rather than let them grind you down. Because, with that Georgia offensive line and that Georgia run game and the way they can work that into the play action pass, that's something you just can't let Georgia do because that's Georgia football. And if they get the opportunity to do that, they're probably going to end up winning that game. You saw it for sure in overtime when the defensive line and linebackers, they were just tired. They were just burnt. And Georgia was just able to, okay, we're going to put 3 tight ends in, a fullback.
I feel bad for that kicker, though.
Yeah,
I don't know how you go back to school after that, man.
You got to change your name, change your address, change your party registration for where you vote because you're going to get found somehow, and you need to just run away.
He looked like he was going to miss that kick once you saw his face going up.
Yeah. Speaking of other kickers, Georgia Tech, the fire drill kick to beat Clemson.
I don't know what is wrong with Clemson. It is weird.
What's wrong with Clemson is that their offense is predictable and
they have no running game whatsoever.
They have no run game. Their offense is predictable, and the weapons they have on the outside aren't dangerous enough.
They're missing their number 1 wide receiver, but still, Cade Klubnik, who's supposed to be a top 10 pick, has looked like a 6th round pick at best out there.
Yeah, he does not look good.
They're going to need a big turnaround if they want to come back this season. But
yeah, they're still. I think they're probably. Are they odds favorites to make the ACC still?
I wouldn't think so now.
Let me look up odds to make the ACC championship.
I think it'd be Miami, wouldn't it?
They got to be leading. I'm saying if they still have good odds.
Miami, Georgia Tech.
Florida State.
I might like SMU.
They are still favored over Florida State.
That's
today.
Crazy.
Miami is plus 155, Georgia Tech plus 400, Clemson plus 650, Florida State plus 700. And then you have Louisville behind them at plus 1,100 and SMU at plus 1,500.
They should have won a lot of these games, but their schedule isn't that bad if they can beat Florida State at home. But, they have some tough teams, but not the way this team's playing right now.
Yeah, they need a spark somehow on offense. Their defense, for the most part, looks okay, but it's not good enough to overcome the issues they're having on offense. You can't punt the ball 9 times out of 10 and score 3 touchdowns a game and expect to win in college football right now.
A lot of it's been the second half they've been fine, but it's the first half their offense just nothing.
Just getting off to a really slow start, yeah.
But has this been the year of college football? All these hype quarterbacks this offseason have all been terrible, whether it's Sellers, whether it's Nussmeier, whether it's Manning, whether it's Lagway, whether it's Klubnik. There's been so
to be
many
fair to Sellers, I think Sellers, of all those guys, has the worst supporting cast. There is nothing on that South Carolina team outside of Lenore Sellers that like brings fear into my heart after watching them play 2 games. Like there's nothing on that team.
Sellers, I think, definitely needs to come back next year.
I think he's got to.
At this point, I don't know if he's going to play this week or not, but
I mean, this South Carolina team just does not look good besides Lenore Sellers. I mean, you saw they were down when he left the game, but like their offense didn't do anything after he left the game. Mm-hmm. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't get a first down.
31-7 or something.
Yeah, it was 14-7, I think, when Sellers went down and they lost 31-7.
You can't stop Diego Pavia. He's coming for us all.
And I think he asked for another year of eligibility.
That was fake.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
7th year would have been insane.
We've seen it before.
I could see him being a solid, like, maybe Gardner Minshew type backup in the NFL.
Gardner Minshew's more arm talent than Pavia, sadly.
Not like Minshew. I'm saying Minshew swagger, that guy that can come off the bench 1 game a year. Jake Browning, A couple games this week. Who'd you take? Illinois, Indiana.
Well, we all know I'm rooting for the Hoosiers.
Always.
I've made that very clear from the onset on this podcast. I'm a big supporter of the Hoosiers of Indiana. I'm hoping they win. I think Illinois will win. Illinois looks better through a few weeks.
I'm intrigued to see, with all these top QBs struggling, Mendoza's looked good against bad talent, and people are talking about him. He could potentially be the number 1 QB taken. So the interest to see Mendoza against an actual real football team this week.
Yeah.
Then we also got kind of a revenge game, Oklahoma, or not Oregon, Oklahoma, Auburn, Jackson Arnold going to Oklahoma, take on his former team. Think Oklahoma pull through, or can Auburn?
I'm gonna be watching this game with great interest because I think Auburn's a little bit better than people think, and I think Oklahoma right now is a little overrated. I like their defense. I like John Matier. I'm not sure he's as good as people think he is. I think people are a little bit too high on Matier right now. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he has potential to be a great quarterback, but I don't know if he's in great status yet.
It's more than just the QB play has been so bad this year from the other guys that guys like him have been brought up a bit. Speaking of Arch Manning, do you think he's hurt?
Either he's hurt or he's the first bust I've ever seen in college football.
I don't think it's possible he's this bad. I think he has to be hurt. Like he might. I thought he was overrated, but I don't think he's this. There's no way he was like the team saw him in the off-season and everything, and we're like, he's the guy, and then he just turns out this awful. What, he had 11 straight incompletions?
Yeah, against Utah.
Like what?
Which even for like a group of 6 team is not a good group of 6 team.
I know. It's insane.
Like it makes me believe like if they were playing TCU, they would have lost that game by 30. Like that's how bad he looked.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of quarter. I mean, the thing with Nussmeier, I don't know if you heard that. They think Nussmeier's been playing injured also. Why he's been off this year?
Yeah, LSU. Well, LSU more so than Texas. They just look like they can't get on the same page. Like quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Like there's a breakdown of communication somewhere. So they're just not performing at a high level. He hasn't looked good. Their defenses look good, but he hasn't looked good. But he hasn't looked as awful as Arch Manning has.
No,
in my opinion.
But there's something I think definitely off with him when they have a better receiving group than they had last year.
Yeah,
he looked good. He wasn't great last year, but he was one of the top tier quarterbacks. And this year he's just not.
not quite performing up to the standard that he probably set for himself at the start of the year for sure.
Also, one last game before we go into Zach's game of the week. Game I'm intrigued at: Utah, Texas Tech. Texas Tech spent all this money. They beat their starting quarterback has not played. I think he's not played in the fourth quarter this season. They won every game by like 50 against Utah, who's looked good. Devin Dampier's been good so far. I think that's gonna be a good game.
With Utah, I like Utah. I like their jerseys. I like Utah, but my big thing about Utah, and it's kind of the same thing with Texas Tech, they just don't win big games. So this is going to be interesting. I've seen Texas Tech win big games, not very often. I don't think I've ever seen Utah win a big game because there was a few years ago, I don't know if you remember, where like they had a chance to go to like the college football playoff when it was a 14 playoff. And they lost like the last 3 games of the year against teams they for sure should have beaten. But
with the amount of money that Texas Tech spent this offseason, I feel like this team has to be for real.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech might be for real. I'm going to take Texas Tech in this game just because of my vibes with Utah and
don't trust the Utah, the non-Mormons.
I mean, it's kind of like it's like Dak Prescott or Jordan Love. You know, you're going to see their worst when it's the brightest lights.
I was fighting with a guy on Twitter yesterday that said Dak Prescott was a top 2-3 quarterback this year.
Dude.
Oh, man, they're crazy. All right, last game. Let's hear it. Florida, Miami. Florida, I don't know what happened to DJ Lagway. He turned in Nathan Peterman last week, one of the worst games I've seen.
That was so bad. I mean, you want to talk about like oh, this guy's seeing ghosts?
It was just
he didn't know what he was doing. It looked like if I took Kerry, who I don't think has ever played a down of organized football, and said, okay, you're playing quarterback against LSU. Like, how do you short arm a throwaway to the point it gets picked off? Like, because that's what it looked like. That one to the sideline where he like rolls left, he chased back to the right. It looks like he's just trying to get rid of it, but that's like lands directly in the field of play right in the arms of like a safety. I was like, what in the world am I watching?
We talked about this all offseason. Or not all offseason, that offseason episode of the college that DJ Lagway, we heard about him all offseason, how good he's going to be. And, hype isn't everything.
What do you think Miami's game plan is against Florida?
Honestly, this rate just let them throw the ball. Florida's running game has been so good. But against Miami, it's obviously going to be hard. But their running back is averaging like 6.5 yards a carry right now, but LSU just gave up the run. But against Miami, they're gonna make Lagway see if he still has the yips, see if he's still gonna.
Yeah, they're gonna bring pressure, 5 or 6 guys a lot in zones, to try and confuse him, I imagine. And then on offense, Miami's probably just gonna do what they've done to everybody. They're gonna run the football and throw the football. And kind of just do whatever feels right, I guess. Carson Beck's looked really good this year for Miami. I've been really impressed with him.
I think they're going to win by at least 14.
So you're taking the Miami in the spread? Miami
I don't have any faith in Florida right now at all.
Yeah, I think this is a big game for Miami. One more game I want to talk about. It's not as big, especially although Lenore Sellers upgraded to probable an hour ago. South Carolina, Missouri. Missouri was my outside favorite to make the SEC championship. Starts the season 3-0. I think that Missouri keeps their winning ways. I think they beat South Carolina. This South Carolina team does not look very good, even with Sellers on the field.
Yeah, we were high on them too in South Carolina, and they've just
really disappointed. They've really disappointed.
Perbrilla's look great for Missouri. I actually saw someone who was like, maybe Penn State's regretting letting him walk instead of Drew Aller, who's looked mediocre at best so far this season.
Does Penn State play real football team this week? Or are they off?
They're on bye. They play Oregon the week after. So
that's right. Okay.
Big game.
Because watching Drew Aller's stats when he plays St. Mary's School, the blind and deaf, doesn't really.
No, I feel like
Oregon give me hype.
I feel like Oregon's a team he'll play well against. It's the Ohio State that he's gonna.
I don't know. Oregon's looked really good this year. I like Dan Lanning as a
Oregon hasn't
coach.
played anybody either, though.
Who's Oregon played?
Nobody.
Let's see.
And they kind of struggled with whoever they played last week for a bit.
Northwestern.
Yeah, it was a close game until like the second half.
I thought they were up like 34-3, and then or 34-7, and then kind of pulled all their starters.
It was yeah, they got them late, but the first half it took them it was like 10-0 with like 5 minutes left in the first half, and then I think they got a touch, and then they
17-0, and then they scored 14 more in the third quarter.
and like the points they scored in the second quarter were like at the end of the quarter, so it was like decent amount of time in. It was like they were hanging around with them.
Yeah, I got you. They scored a touchdown with 31 seconds left to go in the second, and then they kind of opened it up in the second half. I got you.
I can't believe they beat Oklahoma State 69-3 though. But that program is really falling.
Yeah, that program's in a dire straits. Are they 0-3 to start the year?
I think they had a bye, so I think they're 0-2.
No, they're 1-1. They won a game. Who'd they beat? UT Martin, 27-7.
Go UT Martin, wherever that is.
Do they beat Tulsa tomorrow?
So that's what I'm going to be watching on Friday night. Probably not. I think there's Charlotte and Rice is on tonight, actually.
Yeah, I saw Charlotte Rice when I was leaving work was on. But
yeah, Oregon's got Penn State and then Indiana after Oregon State this week, so we'll see how they look.
Where didn't you have Carson Beck as like third in your quarterback rankings right now?
I did. He's looked really. I mean, I think he's looked really good, but also that around him, all the good quarterbacks I thought have not looked good, and everybody else is kind of just beating up on bad competition. But, you know, Notre Dame, USF, some decent teams that Miami's played. So but he's looked good so far.
Yeah.
I don't think he's first round status yet, but I think he could definitely be on it.
He's working his way there. The thing that I've been most impressed about with him is his quickness of his decision making. He gets the ball out fast, even with a pretty good offensive line. So.
Yeah, they said the really thing he's just got to work on this season to get him back in that conversation is just his deep ball.
Yeah, he kind of floats him a little bit for my liking. Kind of is a similar criticism. This is one criticism I will levy at Trevor Lawrence is he seems to like try and throw too touchy of passes sometimes when he needs to just hammer it in there or like put it on more of a line. That's probably a criticism I level at both those guys because I think that's where you see their big mistakes is when they try and float one instead of just, okay, he's open. I just need to get it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But
all right, one last thing before we wrap up and head back to this Bills game. Where's Brian Thomas at? What is wrong with him?
You know what? I think a lot of it's I kind of freaked out on him on Sunday because he had a bad game. He played poorly. I honestly think watching the All-22 and watching everything back, I think him and Trevor Lawrence have only played like a couple games together. And I think that the timing and communication is just not quite there yet. So I think it'll get better as the season goes along.
I think people did kind of forget that it was Mac Jones and Brian Thomas that were the big duo last year.
I think that it's just a timing thing that they got to get down because it's very clear to me that Liam Cohen loves Brian Thomas Jr. They were trying to scheme him open all game. The defense was focused on him as well. So I think it's very clear that they want to get the ball to him. So like in terms of fantasy production, I don't think like he's clearly not there yet, but I definitely look at him.
Jags have had a weird passing offense so far. I mean, it was strange kind of week one with Parker Washington a lot of stuff last week. Hunter really hasn't been too involved. Thomas hasn't.
De'Ami Brown.
He's been good. Just kind of random so far. And ETN on the grounds.
Well, I like what they've done though. They mix the targets up, and it makes it really tough to kind of figure out where they're trying to move the football. I mean, Brenton Strange has been fine through 2 weeks. He's done exactly what I thought he was going to be. Which, I mean, they basically, if you watch the Bucks the past couple years, he's Cade Otton, is what he's doing. He's Cade Otton. He's a safety valve for the quarterback who's got good hands and he can block.
That's fair. I'd like to see more from Hunter too. I feel like you need to see him more focused one way or the other.
I think you're going to see him. What I would like to see, because I think he actually might be, watching his defensive snaps, I think he might be the best corner on our team. I think he might be a little bit better than Tyson Campbell. And in terms of offense, I don't think you get anything out of Travis Hunter that you don't get from Parker Washington. And I think he might even be a worse route runner than Washington is. Parker Washington looks really good through 2 weeks. So I would like to see him as a situational guy on offense and a almost full-time corner. Even if you got him in the slot guarding someone there, because I don't love him for size on the outside, but I think he's a very, very good corner. He's very, very good at changing direction quickly.
Yeah, I think if Brian Thomas can just step up again, and then with Thomas,
I think he'll get there. I think it's a timing and a communication issue. I think it comes with time, and we're 2 weeks into the season. They're just trying to work things out. It's also a brand new offense, so the timing is also going to be different there. So
true. But I think once he gets more involved, he can kind of get Hunter to focus more on defense if that wide receiver group opens up more.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else of this short episode?
That's all I got. Let's get back to watching some football.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.